At some point in their life, everyone has the same two thoughts. Dang, I wish I could be X, and why can't we tickle ourselves? When I answered this first question, I personally wanted to be something other than an addicted video gamer. I had no idea what board game connoisseur, a gym bro who could attract beautiful women, or a businessman or a meditator. It was overwhelming. And the question kept flooding my mind. What even is identity? Which identity should I adopt? How do I build a different identity? Confused, I spent years procrastinating. Curious, I read books like Marcus Aurelius's The Meditations, The Art of Focus by Dan Coe, Personal Socrates by Mark Champagne, and Atomic Habits by James Clear. And slowly over time, I managed to flesh out a understanding to some degree of what identity is and how we can change it. What this video is a 4-step guide on how to change your identity I wish I had when first starting this process 5 years ago. So firstly, let's answer the million dineros question, which is what even is identity? Identity is what you repeatedly feel, think, and do, as well as the environment and people you surround yourself with. Identity change is all about influencing one of those 5 things. The next obvious question is, how do you change your identity? The first step is defining your ideal identity. Who do you respect and why? In order to change your identity, you need to know what you need to change in the first place, which is why I'm going to introduce you to my alter ego aspirational identity, Aiden the World Singer. Don't laugh unless you do, but this picture that I made representing Aiden the World Singer is a mix of Ellen DeVenture from Mistborn, Hoyd from the Stormlight Archives, Mark Watney from The Martian, Leonardo da Vinci, and Nicholas Cole. These are all characters from fiction and real life who all embody qualities that I want for my future self. Love, zest, open-mindedness, curiosity, and self-discipline. So when I'm about to hit snooze, I ask, what would Aiden the World Singer do? When I'm tempted to watch a Lord of the Rings movie marathon, I ask, what would Aiden the World Singer do? And when I'm about to eat a whole jar of peanut butter, I eat the whole jar of peanut butter. There's some things that we cannot resist. So why is aspiring to an idea self like this so powerful? It's because energy flows where attention goes. Where you direct your attention is like a beacon, and that beacon shines light, which illuminates and fuels your path forward. Think of yourself like a ship. If you aspire towards a higher self, you shine your beacon there, then you will start to realize that identity. Whereas if you aspire towards nothing or to like riches or something very external, then you will potentially fall into competition and short horizon thinking. So the game is in keeping your focus locked on your highest aspiration. So ask yourself, literally right now, while you're watching the video, we're gonna turn this into an actual change. Who do you respect most and why? Go ahead. Do it. Get a pen and paper or a digital tool and write down some names. They could be video game characters. They could be dead people. Heck, it could literally be your mom. Write down the values, the motivations, the habits, the skills, knowledge, routines, and environments that these people have. Step 2, once you've done that, is ask yourself, why don't you have this identity right now? Is it a motivation, knowledge, skill, habit, routine, environment, problem, or a combination? Journal about what you're missing in each of these areas and why you're missing it. Is your struggle to get started? Do you lack time or energy? Do you lack the environment that you need? And step 3 is to do one or do none. Which part of your identity is the most important? As much as I wish that we could wave a magic wand and our identity would just be realized just like that with the snap of our fingers. Boom. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So if you try and attack all the gaps in your identity right away, you're gonna be like a stormtrooper in Star Wars. You're gonna be shooting everywhere and hitting absolutely nothing. So what you should do is do one of those gaps. Ask, what are you most passionate about pursuing? What are you in the best position to pursue? And what is going to help you the most to pursue right now with doing the other gaps in your identity? Then order all the gaps that you came up with in terms of priority based on that and slash off every single one of those that is not number one. Step 4 is to create a plan for filling that gap. You have the part of the identity that you want to fill, and now it just comes down to setting some goals for actually doing the gap filling. So this is very individual in how you can go about it, but one of my favorite ways to goal set is using nice goal setting, which I got from Ali Abdaal's book, Feel Good Productivity. The way nice goal setting works is you set goals by doing something that is near term, which means the next few weeks or months you can work on it. It is input based. Input based actually means that they emphasize the process needed to get to the goal rather than the goal itself. Like the external goal, like getting to a certain outcome-based metric, like subscribers on YouTube. They're also controllable, meaning you can actively work towards completing the goal with your own actions and reactions to thoughts. And they're also energizing, which just means they're fun. Like you want to do them when you hear about them. So now that you know how to create a plan, what are some beginner tips that you can follow for building any of the gaps mentioned above? Firstly, for building values are something that you really embody through your actions. So for example, if you value curiosity, a routine or a habit that you might ingrain is reading a new book every single week or month. So for any value you don't feel that you're embodying, you need to find a relevant habit, routine, something, task, project that you can do to embody that value. Building motivation, I recommend you check out my video on 7 powerful tips for cultivating intrinsic motivation, because that is going to help a lot with that. For building knowledge, I recommend you check out a lot more of the meta learning content that I have on the channel. So a good one for you to start with would be how games can 10 times our learning effectiveness, which you can find up above. For building skills, I recommend you check out my video on deliberate skill practice, which you can check up above. It's all about how Faker, one of the best League of Legends players, purposely practices to be so incredible at League of Legends. For building habits, I recommend you literally just read Atomic Habits. It is so freaking good. It's like the foundational book for habit change. So I will link that book in the description below. For building routines, I also recommend you read Atomic Habits because they go hand in hand. And then finally, for changing your environment, unfortunately, that is out of the scope of this video because environment change is so multifaceted that I couldn't talk about it in like 2 sentences, but I suggest you do your own research. So I'm not gonna do a call to action for this video to go anywhere else. I want you to actually act upon this 4-step guide right now. Instead of watching more YouTube, go and do the 4 steps. And I will be watching from space somehow. As always, have a fantastic rest of your day. Eat some peanut butter and bye-bye.